Steven here. Today I'm going to show you a stretching series that we're going to do for the hips, the lower parts of the obliques, a little bit on the groin and the hamstrings. I'm going to show you using my couch here, and then I'm going to show you some stuff up against the wall. Doing this video because I've actually thrown out my back before, because my lower part of my obliques and my hips have gotten so tight. It's just put so much pressure on my lower back that it's pushed up against the nerve. Second you do that, everything locks down and essentially you've thrown out your back, okay? So for this, like I said, I'll actually be using my couch, but if you're shorter, I'm 6 foot, if you're shorter, you can find something else that'll be at height, because essentially you're going to want something that you can comfortably, easily put here. A lot of times you'll see people doing this on handrails. They might do it on their countertop in their kitchen. My table, my dining room table is right over here. That might be appropriate. Just find something that is stable and that is going to be at the appropriate height for you to get a good stretch, okay? I don't want you trying to use your couch and propping up on something that's going to be not as safe and you're going to fall or anything like that, okay? So first one is just a basic hamstring stretch. Putting the leg across right here and then, just reaching out towards it. The cool thing about this, what I like about this is the TV's right over here. I can actually stand here. I might prop on the other side of the couch, but I could just sit here and watch TV and get in this position and hold it a little bit longer. A lot of times people do like 10 seconds on a stretch and they just push it really, really hard for that 10 seconds, but they don't hold it for an extended period of time to actually get the true benefit of what they're trying to do, especially when you have muscles that are so tight they're causing injuries, right? They're causing your back to go out, or they're causing a pull on your knee, or causing problems with ankles, your shoulder, whatever, right? We want to try and get in a position where we can hold this and maintain this longer. The other thing that I've noticed too is that initially when you do a stretch, if you're only doing that 10, maybe 15 seconds, your tissue is resisting for that, right? You almost need to be conscious of that and try and relax the muscle, where people get in it and they stretch really, really tight and it's super duper tight, but if they would just hang out a minute, right, 30, 45 seconds, they would actually feel that muscle let go, and then they can bow further on that, okay? So I suggest getting in a position where you can hold these stretches longer, not only here, but if you're going to do stretches on the ground or wherever, okay? Now, with this position right here, I do both sides. The right part of my body, right over here, my lower part of my obliques and my hip area is really what caused the problem. It got too tight. It got too tight on my TFL, which is in the front part of my hip also. So what I'll do for this stretch when I'm here is I'll go here, and then it's kind of like, I don't know, I think it's called a plie with, I'm not 100% sure with ballet, but I'll bring the arm over like this, like you'll see ballet dancers do, and I'm now stretching all the way down and through this, okay? And this one, for some it might be so uncomfortable initially that they really can only do 10 seconds. So what we do on this then is we do rounds. So then I would come back again, and I would hold 5, 10 seconds, but I would do this a couple times. I'm not only stretching the hamstring here, but I'm stretching now that lower part of my oblique, my hip area that's causing some of the discomfort, the tightness, and that's actually the root cause of part of my problem with this, okay? So I would do both sides with this one, and I would simply come here, we would hang out like this. Also, make sure that you are hitting both sides with this. So if my injury is on one side, don't just stick with there. You might, when you're more in an acute phase, make sure you're going and contacting your physical therapist or your chiropractor, whoever is helping you, see what their recommendation is for the acute phase. Once you're out of that, you're really more in the management phase and you're in the recovery phase where we're trying now to correct this long term. That's when we're going to want to make sure we take care of both sides, okay? So we do both sides, we would do our stretch here, and we do the same thing. So I'm going to switch angles here. I'm going to show you a separate stretch. We're still going to use the couch though, okay? Okay, so for the second thing, we're actually going to stretch the hip on this. Basically, it's like a standing stretch, hip stretch.
I'm going to show this actually at a couple angles. So after I explain this, I'll actually show you a video, just no audio on it, really show it from the front and the side so you get a better idea of what I'm doing here. Essentially though, I'm going to lay my leg across this, so I'll bring it up and I'm going to put it here. I bring my other leg close to the couch here, and then I just hang out here. Put in a position where I can hold this down and I'm stretching my hip, okay? If I'm here, one of the modifications that I'll do with this is I'll actually straighten my arm and I'll lean away like this, and I'll stretch more into this hip, into the glute, a little bit of the lower portion of the obliques here, and I'll just hold that for a little bit. It is a good way, like I said, to actually maintain and get into this position and hold it for a longer period of time so that your body can adjust to it, right? So that, and this is really the hip that I need to work on. And you'll feel the difference in the tightness, because it's not only my hip, I mean, I'm stretching my glute with this too, but maintaining it for that longer period of time, you'll notice afterwards, if you do this regularly, that you actually make greater and greater improvements versus just a small stretch here or there, okay? Same thing, 30 to 60 seconds for any of these stretches is typically what I'm gonna recommend. Now, like I mentioned with the last stretch, if we get into it and you're like, I can only do 10 seconds, then let's do some rounds so we can build up. So we can do 3 to 6 rounds with it, so we still get that 30 to 60 seconds, okay? I can go here and I can push and stretch away from this, okay? I can lean forward with it also. If I'm leaning forward and bowing forward, I'm getting more of my glute now. Standing straight up, pushing away, I'm getting the hip and my obliques. Still getting my glutes, but I'm gonna feel it a little bit more there, okay? So we're gonna cut. I'm gonna show you this at 2 separate angles now also, so you can get a better idea of kind of how I'm getting in this position. Make sure that the height of the item is appropriate so that you can kind of stand. If I want more stretch, I can actually, you can't see it, but I can bend my knee more and I can sink down lower with this. Make sure that the surface area is stable. If you need a pillow or a blanket, if you're doing it on something that's gonna be a harder surface, I definitely recommend that. I've tried it on the countertop before, and it was actually, my knee is bony, so my knee was on the countertop and it was just irritating my knee. So I had to put like a blanket underneath it so it was a little bit more cushioned for my body. So let's go ahead and cut to these other angles. So now for the next part, for this, all you need is a wall. I'm going to show you a separate variation where you don't need the wall for this. But with this, I'm going to put my forearm on the wall here. My feet are going to be here. I'll be a straight line, feet are together. Forearm is bracing me here. I'm not trying to keep this arm stiff or anything like that. All I'm going to do is let my hips drop in to stretch. So I'm going to just drop in like that. A lot of people sink their shoulder in. You don't want to do that. Keep that locked down. I sink in this way, and then I pull back up like that. I'm keeping my body in alignment too, so I'm not shifting my hips away unless I need to, which would be if this is too much. The modification after that, if this is too much and you really feel it just on your spine, I can push my hips back a little bit, bow forward, and then push that, and I'll feel that a little bit more now through my lower obliques and my hip, okay? For this, I recommend doing this about 5 to 10 times, meaning 5 to 10 cycles of push in, hold, 3 to 5 seconds, and then come up and out like that, okay? For this one was a lifesaver when I threw my back out. Did this, man, I did 10 per side about 6 to 7 times a day. So this is one that I still regularly do just because my obliques, my lower obliques and my hips just have a tendency to get really, really tight. So you can use this one. Now for the one where you don't need the wall, okay, what I'm going to do is if my feet are together here, and I know you can't see this, but I'm going to turn, my feet are aligned like this, I'm basically going to make a 90-degree angle with my feet, okay? So I'm going to turn this foot out, so this foot is facing this way, this foot is facing this way, okay? So in this position now, I'm going to take my arm, I'm going to put it on my side, and I'm going to glide down, keeping in alignment as far as I can, and then we'll notice that we get to a point where like the tissue won't let it go any further. So if I do that here, okay, and I know what that is, which right now it's above my knee, what I can do is the same like arm pulling like this that we were doing over here. I'll go down like this, I'll take my arm in. I want to intra-abdominally brace, meaning I want to fill my belly with air so that I have internal support for my spine, right? Don't let that just sink in, that's not good. Deep belly breath here, and then I'll stretch, and I'll actually get further. And I can hold this about 10 seconds, and then I'll slowly get further and further. And then I pull it back, and I'll do that 3 to 5 times. One of the other benefits of doing that intra-abdominal bracing, right, filling the belly with air like this, is I'm actually, because this is a cylinder and I've now filled it with air, I push out on this so I can get a better stretch on these lower obliques here, which is going to affect my hip because all this is kind of running together right here. All right, so with that, I would recommend 3 to 5 times that I'm doing that per side. Okay, you can distill this down and use only certain parts of it throughout your day. You don't have to treat this like all one thing that you do every single day. If there's, I mean, these are basically giving you options. If I'm at work and I can only do this, right, do that. If I can't do that and I just need to stretch that really, really quick, I can do this right here. But also, if I'm at home, I'm watching TV and I have a minute and I can actually prop myself up on something, or if I'm in the kitchen, wherever, and you can actually maintain that for longer, so you're actually just allowing that to get more flexible. Let's do that also, okay? So if you have any questions, any comments, please do that below. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button. We're gonna have more of these, as well as workout videos, supplement reviews, all of that for you. More and more in the coming weeks, so keep a lookout for that. Thanks for watching.